because they claim they have created NDDC to help you. Has NDDC really helped your lot? Is your life better than it was 4 years ago? So when people make all sorts of promises, and albeit gaffes when they make those promises, ask them, the things Isaac Adakaburu fought for, are those problems not still evident today across the Niger Delta?
Yes, man, people, I see the hard, it don't happen, no. Man, I see the way around Stevie, they give APC woto. They just scatter APC leg. Man, I talk too much. Man, I see the way around Stevie, just scatter APC and tinubu leg. As they watch and just they share the video, make the rest people of the world when they see them. And as they share them, just they hit the like button. And as they watch them, it's just comment your opinion. When I see the way around Stevie, they expose APC, they open people. Man, I watch out.
Really perturbed any longer when politicians talk. And in fact, the words of a politician is not worth the saliva that comes out of his mouth when he says it. So I'm not surprised. They would always talk. I think it was Shada Gold that said politicians say they'll build bridges where there are no rivers. They'll always make promises that they can't back up with empirical facts. And many years down the line, they'll say they never made those promises. Just watch. You'll see it. It'll happen soon. So I'm not surprised. But I am concerned about the people of Niger Delta. And that's why people of Niger Delta shine your eye. In the late 60s, a certain young man that was in school but left school because his people were suffering, Isaac Adakaburu, started what he called a 12-day revolution. That was the first time anybody challenged the federal government in this country. And why did he challenge the federal government? Because the resource of the people of the Niger Delta was not used to develop them. Isaac Adakaburu finally succumbed to the power and might of the federal government. He was to die about a year after in 1968 and during the war. But I want you to ask yourself, watching me this morning in the Niger Delta, that all the things Isaac Adakaburu fought for, are those problems not still there? Over 50 years, close to 60 years now, that Isaac Adakaburu fought so hard. All the problems are still there. So if all the problems are there, then what you should be asking the politicians is that what is the need for me? At least how can we settle out the challenges that Isaac Adakaburu raised close to 60 years ago? And those should be the normative conversation for people of the Niger Delta region. Because they claim they have created NDDC to help you. Has NDDC really helped your lot? Is your life better than it was 4 years ago? So when people make all sorts of promises, and albeit gaffes when they make those promises, ask them, the things Isaac Adakaburu fought for, are those problems not still evident today across the Niger Delta?
We don't get to hear how they will solve the problem. So if you tell the people of Bayelsa, I will make sure that flood no longer sweeps away your papa's house or your mama's house. No, what does that really mean in real terms? Other than just talking, holding talks, as Olarotimi has said in one of his books. If you say you will make sure that flood does not wash away their homes, okay, will the government build or complete the Nigerian end of the Lagdo Dam? Will Nigeria show greater commitment to climate change adaptation and not waiting for foreign funding in that regard? Will Nigeria pay more attention to urban planning, regulations in Bayelsa and elsewhere? I didn't get that from the statements made. So just telling the people flood will not wash your papa's home away, it's like saying nothing. Then a second point, he says he will also industrialize Bayelsa State. How is he going to industrialize Bayelsa State? It was the same message in the southeast. The whole of the southeast will be industrialized. How? Chief Timi Presiva, who is a prominent APC chieftain, also spoke. He spent the time attacking Peter Obi attacking Atiku Abubakar. Yes, people may say, well, it's standard political practice to demarcate the opposition. The question to ask is it not better to devote your energy to the marketing of your own candidates rather than the marketing others? All you hear is Asiwaju has done it in Lagos. He will do it in Nigeria. Can people get a bit more creative with their messaging methods? But for me, the big takeaway from all of this was that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, campaigning in Yenagoa, took time out to pay special tribute to President Goodluck Jonathan for handing over without any rancor, for respecting the democratic process, for leaving a legacy of integrity in terms of transparency of elections in 2015. He also praised him for the work that he has been doing across Africa after his tenure in office, and for promoting peace and harmony across Africa and also inside Nigeria. I think that was very instructive, because you will recall that this same APC presidential candidate once referred to President Jonathan as a drunken fisherman. That he was in Bayelsa. In that regard, he ate his words. He was praising the same fishermen that he once called drunken people, and the one that he identified as the chief drunken fisherman, he singled it out. He singled him out for praise. I hope that President Jonathan will find his space in his heart to forgive Asiwaju Tinubu all of his sins, now that he has gone to his own people, to the same fishermen that he used to abuse, to say no, fishermen are great people, and that he wants their votes.